The mayor of Bridgeton explained how Code Blue takes on an expanded role to help homeless during extreme weather, how Gateway Community Action Partners is making a difference in the community, and useful information about breastfeeding for new moms is all here on the next Latino Motion. Join us.
Choose quality, value, distinction. Choose Stockton.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation, and Stockton University. This edition of Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is brought to you by the HD Studios at the campus of Stockton University. Funding for Latino Motion is provided by Atlanticare, healthcare you can believe in. Atlantic City Electric, energy for a changing world. And South Jersey Gas. Welcome to Latino Motion, a weekly interview show highlighting issues impacting New Jersey's Latino community while advancing understanding of Latino cultural heritage and contributions to our society. And here is your host, Bert Lopez.
Buenos dias, and thank you for joining us today. Code Blue is a term that many communities use to focus on getting homeless people off the street during extreme cold weather. But Cumberland County has taken a new focus on that term, and to talk about this is the City of Bridgeton Mayor Albert Kelly. Mayor, welcome to Latino Motion.
Thank you, Bert.
Now, this is the time of year when we start hearing that term, Code Blue. It's usually a declaration by the mayor or the city to protect homeless people during extreme cold weather. And I understand that the City of Bridgeton and now spreading throughout Cumberland County are doing something a little bit different. Tell me a little bit about what you're doing.
Several years ago, we had an individual in Bridgeton die from the cold weather. He was trying to get warm, so he climbed into a clothing bin and suffocated and died. And so it kind of spurred myself and some other individuals to start looking on how can we shelter people so we cannot have this happen again in my community.
Now, doing the, I guess, the Code Blue declaration that many cities do, they just basically take homeless people and just put them into temporary shelter for the night.
Temporary shelter or some type of building that they can house them for the night, not necessarily bedding or what have you, but just to get them off the street because of the extreme weather. And so what we decided to do, because we did not have a shelter is something that is very, can be very costly and very controversial where you site and have a shelter. So what we did is found the regulations in New Jersey that one step below a shelter is called a warming center, in which we decided to have a warming center, which is basically a shelter, but the law says you must move it every 7 days. You can have it one spot for 7 days, then it has to be moved to another location.
So it can't be permanent.
Can't be permanent.
Right.
And so we were able to work with with Pastor Robin Weinstein of Bethany Grace Church in the city of Bridgeton to kind of pioneer this idea. We started at his church for those first 7 days. Then we moved to St. Andrew's Episcopal Church for the next 7 days and started working with different houses of faith to move our warming center every 7 days. So we had a rotation of about 4 to 5 churches that worked with us.
And I know you've been doing this now for a couple years, and I understand it's taken a little bit of root in that other communities are looking to join, including the city of Millville.
City of Millville, the city of Vineland. St. Andrews, the pastor, Ellen Rutherford, is also pastor in Vineland. So it was a natural progression from Bridgeton to Vineland. And so this is our 3rd year. And so now we've got interest in Millville, and we're also gaining some interest in other communities, small communities in South Jersey, like the city of Salem.
Now, I know that you wear an additional hat. In addition to being the mayor, you're also the CEO of Gateway Community Action Partnership.
Right.
And I know that you've done a lot of community programs, and one of the focus is on homelessness and trying to address that. Tell me about some of the other programs that you have initiated.
Well, being mayor and being a CEO it was a natural progression, because that's my interest in terms of taking care of people. For us to start the warming center. But we do a number of things. We do low-income heating assistance, and where we provide subsidy for individuals who need heat and electricity and other things to keep them warm during the winter time. And we have a success center in which we work with individuals, families in emergency situations, so that problems that they're facing, immediate problems that they're facing, that they can come to us rather than have to go through the bureaucracy of the state. We also have a farm and food warehouse, so we do a lot in terms of emergencies and taking care of the immediate needs of entire families.
This is an issue when we're talking about homelessness, particularly during the cold season here, that many communities aren't as proactive in terms of addressing this issue. What kind of reaction have you gotten from other areas in the state in terms of the approach you're taking?
Well, I must say in our immediate area, it's become a very positive movement in the Bridgeton area. We house people. There's no government funding whatsoever. So all our funding comes from donations from the churches, from individuals who know that we're doing something positive. We get volunteers to provide meals. We have different ministries, different churches who perhaps cannot house people, but they will provide meals. And so we have meals set up for each day of the week. They bring in hot meals so that we can feed the individuals. We have cots for each center. In the beginning, we used to have to move our 30 or so cots every 7 days to a different location. But because of the donations and involvement of many people, each church that's involved, another church is St. Teresa's Catholic Church in Bridgeton, they're much involved. And so we have cots at each location, we have blankets at each locations, we have all the necessary items so that every facility can be self-sufficient.
So if someone wants to volunteer and either donate or be a volunteer, they could do so. We'll put up the number where they could call and certainly get involved as well.
Yes, we're always looking for volunteers. We're becoming a little bit more sophisticated. We have a volunteer handbook. We have a procedure manual. We have people have their name tags and what have you, so that we can be as safe on our end as we are taking care of our clients.
And that's what it's all about, being safe.
Being safe.
Mayor, thank you for this. We're going to continue our discussion. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Latino Motion.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation. Join us online at www.latinomotion.tv. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We encourage your comments and contributions for show topics.
Welcome back to Latino Motion. We're continuing our discussion with the City of Bridgeton Mayor Albert Kelly. And Mayor, we were talking about Code Blue and some of the initiatives that you're doing there to address the homelessness, get them off the street during extreme cold weather. But certainly there's always a long-term problem in terms of homelessness.
Yes.
And I'd like to discuss some of the programs that you're also working on. And I know that through Gateway and the city, wearing both hats, you're also working on an initiative called Tiny Homes. Tell me a little bit about what that is.
Well, tiny homes, that's an in vogue thing now. I see there's different programs about tiny homes, but we're looking for some type of permanency for individuals who are chronically homeless. And so we started investigating tiny homes or micro homes as a low-cost, inexpensive way of housing individuals for what it would cost to build a shelter, build a long-term facility. We can house people in their own facility for approximately $30,000 or less.
Like you said, this is not a new approach. I even saw an article where even in the city of Atlanta City, where there's some talk about doing locating a place where they could put tents
Right.
to address homelessness. It's a big issue for many, many communities. You think this is going to take root, and has it taken root in other communities?
Yeah, I've been researching, and they're big on the West Coast. The state of Wisconsin, the state of New York have been much more active in developing this process in tiny homes. And so I want to be someone in New Jersey. I want to do it in New Jersey because it's cost effective. Homelessness is still a problem in New Jersey, and people are not comfortable with having long-term shelters in their community. And so this is a way of trying to meet that need.
And I know you're also trying to focus on making sure that people could get into housing.
Right.
And one of the things that you're doing through the organization is also working on home ownership opportunities. Tell me a little bit about that effort.
Yes, we have been successful in building single-family homes for the last 15, 20 years. And so we're continuing to expand upon that so that we can provide housing, but also, more importantly, teach people how to, what it takes to take care of a home. When you live in an apartment all your life, and then suddenly you're a homeowner, it can be frightening. So we have people go through home ownership classes. We take people through financial literacy classes so that when they do have a house, they're well prepared to maintain the house and to be successful.
And that's the key. You want them to get them in the housing, but you also want them to stay there.
Exactly.
And not go in temporarily and then lose the home. In addition to that, obviously that's a big deal, home ownership. And I know in the city of Bridgeton you have a large Latino community. And tell me a little bit about the outreach that you're doing to the Latino community there.
Yes, Bridgeton's total population, official population is 25,349. Wow. And our Latino population is 46% of our community. And so we're trying to do much more to make our Latino population feel that they're part of the community. They want to be part of the community. Our school system is predominantly Latino now. Mm-hmm. And so there's many things that we can do together to make a great community. And that's what I'm searching for and working with our Latino population in our city of Bridgeton.
Basically, you're also helping seniors with a senior housing project and Head Start with the youth. So let's start with the seniors. Tell me a little bit about the program you
We
run
have
for
a senior housing complex in the city of Vineland in which it's 125 units of senior housing. We have a full staff there, and I'm told that we are filled to capacity there. We're also located in Spring Gardens. It's called Spring Garden Housing Apartments, and we have an Alzheimer's center there as a drop-off center in which people can come and enroll their family member daily, and we have a staff that takes care of our Alzheimer's patients so that the family can have a respite during the daytime.
Let's talk about the Head Start program, because you really are going out big in the Head Start program. Your agency is probably the biggest agency in terms of Head Start programs, yes. And you're also managing the one in Atlantic City and building a new center in Atlantic City. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, because of Superstorm Sandy, many of the prior Head Start locations were damaged beyond repair and had so much damage. We were able to receive a grant from the federal government to build a center on Backrack Boulevard in downtown Atlantic City. We've been working with Mayor Guardian and his staff, and they've been very good to work with so that we can build a 3-story center and consolidate all our other locations into this one center. And the thing is, if we ever have a storm like that again, we'll be prepared because of the way we're building it, it'll be elevated. We're going to have amenities for the neighborhood so that anything happens, any tragedy happens, they can come there.
And it's going to be a beautiful building, and certainly it's going to meet a very important need in getting more families access to early childhood care. Mayor, thank you for sharing this information, and really love to have you back at some point.
Anytime.
And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with my next guest right here on Latino Motion.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation. Join us online at www.latinomotion.tv. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We encourage your comments and contributions for show topics.
Welcome back to Latino Motion. Getting a healthy start for newborns is a goal of every parent, and while breastfeeding is not often discussed openly, it is one of the best options for newborns. Yet it's something that many new moms struggle with, and to discuss this further is Liz Chan. Liz, welcome to Latino Motion. Now, Liz, tell me a little bit about what you do and how you get involved in this whole breastfeeding business that you're involved with.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me. So my passion for breastfeeding, it started when I had my first baby, my newborn, and at the hospital where I delivered, I didn't get the help that I needed. Being a Latina and from a culture, my mom, my cousins, everybody in my family have a strong, belief.
And this is a cultural thing for many Latinos to breastfeed.
Absolutely. It is very marked in our culture. It's very much, many of our cultures throughout the entire Latin America know that, that's something that moms should do right after having a newborn because it's good.
Now, you started a business.
Yes, it's called Pretty Mama Breastfeeding. I like to call all the new moms pretty because they're pretty moms. Even if they have 3, 4, 5 children, they're still good moms and they want to do the best. So the business is dedicated for just serving the mom right after they get out of the hospital and they feel like they just need that extra help. They don't have anybody to call. The husband is back to work. The family probably doesn't live close by, where many moms are actually in the city completely alone. And then they find themselves in this place where can I call? What should I do other than my nurse?
Now, obviously, there's been some changes, particularly with Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, that does help moms to get help. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, the Affordable Care Act has completely changed the whole world of breastfeeding because they are allowing now every mom that is pregnant to receive a breast pump. So the mom has to call her insurance. As long as she has an insurance, she calls the insurance, she receives the breast pump in the mail. And then while she's calling the insurance also has the information for counseling. So the mom can have access to counselors in the local community. The problem is that not every community have easy access to the lactation professionals.
And this is what you are, a lactation professional,
Yes.
and this is what you come in and you do offer that service. And I may add, it's bilingual, so you're able to help Spanish-speaking moms as well. Even though your name is Chang, we're born in Colombia.
Yes, I was native, born in Colombia, raised in Colombia. And then I came to the United States about 23 years ago. And then, I had my bachelor's degree, and then I continued studying to become a lactation counselor through the Academy of Lactation Policy and Practice. And now I'm studying to become a nurse. I'm a nurse student right now. So I am colliding the culture and all the information, all the my own experience in breastfeeding and all the studies of breastfeeding, the importance for the newborn.
Now, although breastfeeding is natural for many Latinas, there's still a struggle with many Latinas in terms of being able to breastfeed for a number of reasons, and one of them is C-sections. And apparently there is a great more Latinas who end up getting C-sections.
Yeah.
What can they do, expecting moms, what can they do so that they have a normal delivery? And, not everyone's going to have a normal delivery, but how can they improve their chances?
Yes, that's a great question, and thank you for bringing that up, because the whole process of breastfeeding starts at birth. So the mom, especially us Latinas, we have high population with diabetes. We need to learn how to control ourselves in terms of the foods that we eat, especially when we're pregnant.
The diet is very critical.
Diet, extremely critical. And prenatal care. So the mom needs to be very proactive of finding the OBGYN, the nurse practitioners, the midwives, and go into the holistic information about the holistic world and the whole aspect of how to be able to, avoid the epidurals, avoid any of the other medications.
Let's just give your website, because I know you have additional information on your website. Give us the website.
It's www.prettymb.com. They can contact me. My number is also 908-938-5320. And all the information is on my website. People can schedule consultations with me. I have a Facebook. I have all the social media, so then they can contact me.
I really appreciate this. Unfortunately, this is all the time we have, but thank you for sharing this with our audience. Very useful information. Thank you for joining us at home once again here on Latino Motion.
Choose quality, value, distinction. Choose Stockton.
Funding for Latino Motion is provided by Atlanticare, healthcare you can believe in. Atlantic City Electric, energy for a changing world. And South Jersey Gas.